Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. It's Natasha Hamilton, luxury realtor with EXP Realty. Today we are breaking down the May 2026 King City real estate market. So if you're thinking about buying, selling, investing, or you simply own a home in King City and you just want to understand what your property may be worth right now, well then this update is going to be very important for you. In this video, I'm going to walk you through the key numbers. So the average price, the median price, active listings, new listings, days on market, months of inventory, and what mortgage rates are doing for buyer confidence right now. And most importantly, I'm going to explain what the numbers actually mean in plain English, because market stats are only useful when you know how to interpret them. So before we get into it, make sure you like this video and comment below if you have any questions about the King City market. And subscribe to my channel for more real estate updates across King City, Vaughan, Kleinburg, and all of York region. So, also check out my other YouTube videos if you are thinking about moving to King City, comparing luxury neighborhoods, or trying to understand whether now is the right time to buy and sell. These videos will be of great help to you. And make sure to check out the helpful links in the description below where you can find resources, market updates, and ways to contact me directly. So let's get into the May 2026 King City market update. In today's King City real estate market update, we are looking specifically at the May 2026 luxury housing market. So, this presentation is designed for buyers, sellers, and homeowners who want a clear understanding of prices, inventory, days on market, mortgage rates, and negotiation power. So, if you're a seller, this will help you understand how to price and position your home. And if you're a buyer, this will help you understand where negotiation opportunities may exist. And if you are a homeowner, this will help you understand why your home value is not based on one average price number alone. So, King City is still one of the GTA's most desirable luxury markets, but the data shows a much more nuanced story. So, as we go through each slide, I want you to listen for the difference between the price level and market leverage, because a community can still be expensive and premium while buyers have more negotiating power. The biggest thing I want you to understand right away is this. King City market has shifted, but not necessarily in the way most people think. So if you only look at general GTA headlines, you might think the entire market is tightening and becoming more competitive again. And yes, across the broader GTA, there are signs of a stronger spring activity. Sales have improved in some areas and new listings have come down compared to last year. But Queen City is not having exactly like the broader GTA. King City is a luxury, estate heavy market, which means it can have very different inventory levels as well as buyer behavior and pricing patterns compared to a more affordable or higher volume GTA communities. So in May 2026, King and King City remained a high inventory, buyer favorable luxury market. And that does not mean that the market is bad, and it does not mean that homes are not selling, but it does mean that buyers have more choice, they have more time, and more negotiating power than many sellers may realize. So the big message is that King City is still premium, but buyers currently have leverage. So before we go deeper into the numbers, I want to clarify something important about the data. So the most reliable May 2026 data available comes from Trev's municipal level reporting for King and King Township. So King City is part of King Township. So the numbers we're discussing reflect the broader King market and not a tiny King City only micro market. So that matters because King Township includes luxury homes, estate properties, detached homes, and other property types that can influence the overall numbers. And King is a luxury and estate heavy market. The data can move quite a bit from month to month. So, for example, if only a small number of homes sell and one or two of those sales are very high-end estate homes, the average price can jump significantly, as you can imagine. So that is why I never want you to look at only one number, like the average price, and make a major real estate decision from that one number alone. So in luxury real estate, we need to look at the full picture. We need to look at sales volume, active listings, new listings, days on market, months of inventory, sale to list ratio, and benchmark price trends. And that is how you understand what is really happening. So now let's look at the May 2026 King and King City area market snapshot. So in May, there were 22 homes sold. There were 135 new listings that came onto the market, 233 active listings available to buyers. The average sales price was $1,815,404, and the median sales price was $1,743,750. The average sale to list ratio was 94%, which means homes are selling at around an average of 6% below their average asking price. And the average listing days on market was 31 days, and the broader property days on market was 48 days. As well, all this I know all this information. Months on inventory was 11.3 months, and the sales to new listing ratio was 21.3%. So, what does all that mean? It means this was not a hot seller's market. This was a selective, negotiation heavy luxury market where buyers had meaningful leverage. Homes were still selling, but not everything was moving quickly, and not every seller was getting close to asking. So that is why strategy matters so much right now. Let's talk about average price versus median price because this is one of the most misunderstood parts of real estate market data. So in May 2026, the average sales price in King and King City again was $1,815,404, and the median sales price was $1,743,750. So both of these numbers confirm that King City remains a premium luxury market, and this is still a high value community with a significant buyer demand for space, privacy, land, lifestyle, and estate style living, but the average and medium price do not tell the whole story, as I've been saying. So, um, the average price can be pulled higher by a few very expensive sales. So, if a couple of ultra luxury estate homes sell in a given month, the average price may look stronger than the overall market really is. So the median price gives us a better middle point because it shows where the market sits when half the sales are above and half the sales are below that number. So the key lesson here is that a market can be expensive and still a buyer favorable, but price tells us the level of the market, but inventory and days on market and sales to list ratio tells us who has leverage. In May, only 22 homes sold in King City. So that is important because low transaction volume makes interpretation more nuanced, really. So when you have a market with hundreds of thousands of sales, the average price becomes more stable because it is based on a larger sample size. When only 22 homes sell in a month, each individual sale has a much bigger impact on the numbers. So if a few higher end estate properties sell, the average price can increase. And if more lower priced or smaller properties sell, the average price can come down. So that is why in King City, we have to look beyond price. The low number of sales tells us that buyers were active, but they were not rushing and they were comparing options. So they were they were being very selective in their choosing, and they had enough inventory available that they did not necessarily feel forced to make aggressive decisions. So this is especially important for sellers. If you are listing a home in a low volume luxury market, you cannot assume that buyers will automatically show up just because King City is desirable. You need the right pricing, you need the right presentation, you need marketing and positioning from day one. This slide is one of the most important in the entire presentation. In May 2026, there were 233 active listings and only 22 completed sales. So that means there were more than 10 active listings for every sale. So that is a major signal. So when buyers have that much choice, they do not feel the same urgency they would feel in a low inventory market. So they can compare properties, wait for the price reductions, they can revisit listings, negotiate conditions, and choose the home that offers the best value. For sellers, this means your home is not just competing against the homes that sold last month. It is competing against every active listing that buyers can tour right now. And in a luxury market, buyers are often comparing more than just price. They are comparing the lot size, privacy, the finishes, the renovations, location, school access, the commute, the layout, outdoor living, basement potential, and overall lifestyle. So the key line here is that price tells us what sold, inventory tells us who has leverage, and right now, inventory tells us that buyers have more leverage in King City. So in May, 135 new listings entered the King City and King market. So that is a lot of new supply compared to only 22 completed sales. The sales to new listing ratio was 21.3%. So, in simple terms, that means only about one in five new listings were being absorbed by completed sales. This is a clear buyer favorable reading when new listings are coming onto the market much faster than homes are selling and inventory builds. And when inventory builds, sellers have more competition. This is one of the biggest reasons why pricing accurately matters so much right now. If a seller price is too high, buyers may not feel any urgency. They may simply move on to the next listing, especially if there are many similar options available. For buyers, on the other hand, this kind of market can create opportunity. So, more active listings can mean more selection, more negotiating room, and more time to make a thoughtful decision. But for sellers, it means your listing needs to stand out immediately because in this kind of market, average marketing does not create premium results. So months of inventory is one of the best indicators of whether a market favors buyers or sellers. It estimates how long it would take to sell all current listings if no new homes came onto the market and sales continued at the current pace. So in King and King City, months of inventory was 11.3 months in May, which is high. And generally, 0 to 3 months of inventory is considered a seller's market. That usually means low supply, more competition, and stronger pressure on buyers. So around 4 to 6 months is closer to a balanced market where neither buyers nor sellers have major advantage. So once you get above 6 months, you're generally in a buyer's market territory. So at 11.3 months of inventory, King and King City was strongly supplied and clearly, buyers were favorable. So now that does not mean every seller is desperate, but it also does not mean that every home will sell below market value. But it does mean that buyers have more options and sellers need to compare or compete more strategically. And the main takeaway is that in May, King City buyers had room to be very selective. Now let's talk about days on market because there are two numbers here that matter. So the average listing days on market or LDOM was 31 days. This measures how long a home has been on the current MLS listings. And the average property days on market, or PDOM, was 48 days. So this gives a broader picture of the property's exposure, including situations where a home may have been canceled or relisted or repositioned. So this distinction matters a lot because sometimes a property may appear new because it was relisted, but buyers and agents can often see that the home has actually been available for a lot longer. And the longer a home sits, the more buyers may start to question it. So they may wonder, is it overpriced? Is there something wrong with it? Is the seller more negotiable now? Could we offer less? So that is why the first few weeks on the market are so important. If a listing does not attract strong activity early, the seller may need to adjust quickly. In a market with 48 average property days on market, patience and pricing discipline are critical. Average sale to list ratio in May was 94%. So this means homes sold for approximately 6% below their asking price on average. So let's put that into real numbers. So if a home listed for, let's say, 2 million, a 94% sale to list ratio would mean that the sales price was approximately 1,880,000. So that is a $120,000 difference from the asking price. So that is not a small gap. This tells us that buyers are negotiating and sellers are not consistently getting full asking price. Now, this does not mean that every home sold 6% under asking. Some may have sold closer to asking and some may have sold lower. This ratio gives us an average market signal. But the overall message is clear that buyers are price sensitive and they are using the inventory environment to negotiate. So for sellers, this is why overpricing can be very dangerous. If you start too high, you may end up sitting on the market longer. And the longer you sit, the more buyers may feel they can negotiate even harder. And in this market, pricing strategy is not optional. It is everything. This slide gives us a more stable view of pricing trends through the Chubb Home Price Index benchmark data. So in May 2026, King's composite benchmark price was $1,593,600, down 9.21% year over year. The single family benchmark was $1,801,600, down 10.07% year over year. And the townhouse or row benchmark was $773,200, which was down 12.88% year over year. And the condo apartment benchmark was $609,600, down 7.48% year over year. So this is important because benchmark prices help reduce some of the volatility that can come from a small number of high price sales. So even though the average sales price in May looked strong over 1.8 million, the benchmark data tells us that values are still meaningful lower than they were a year ago, like 1 year ago, I would say. So across all properties recorded, this is the nuisance. I know this is hard to explain. Queen City is still expensive. It is still a luxury market, but benchmark values show that the market has softened from last year, if that makes sense. So for sellers, this means pricing must reflect the current market conditions, not peak expectations. And for buyers, this means there may be opportunities compared to last year's pricing. Now let's talk about mortgage rates because rates are still a major factor in buyer behavior. So as of the report, the Bank of Canada target overnight rate was 2.25%, and the prime rate was around 4.45% to 4.5%. The posted mortgage rate references included a 1 year rate at 5.49%, a 3 year rate at 6.05%, and a 5 year rate at 6.09%. The report also referenced best available Toronto high ratio examples as of June 5th, 2026, with a 5 year fixed around 4.04% and a 5 year variable around 3.35%. Now, I want to be clear, mortgage rates vary based on the lender, the borrower profile, the down payment, the credit, and the mortgage type, as well as insurance status and qualification. So this is not personal mortgage advice. You always want to speak with a licensed mortgage professional, but from a market perspective, the key point is this. Rates may be better than peak levels, buyers are still cautious. Lower rates help, but affordability is still a major factor, especially in the luxury market like King City. For buyers, this market may offer real opportunity, but you still need a strategy. So, with 233 active listings in May, buyers had genuine choice across different price points, lot sizes, locations, finishes, and property types. The 94% sale to list ratio also tells us there may be room to negotiate on price, as well as conditions, closing dates, inclusions, or other terms. But here is the important warning. Not every home is equally negotiable. A home is beautifully presented, priced properly on a premium lot, or renovated to a high standard may still attract strong interest. The best strategy is to identify where the leverage actually exists. So that may include homes with longer days on market, price reductions, relisted properties, vacant homes, estate sales, or sellers who actually appear more motivated because this is where the local expertise actually becomes very valuable. So if you are thinking about buying in King City, I can help you understand which listings may have the strongest negotiating potential and which homes are priced fairly from the start. You do not want to overpay, but you also do not want to miss a great home because you misread the market. For sellers, I want to be very clear. This does not mean you cannot sell successfully in King City. You absolutely can, but the strategy has to match the market. The challenges are very clear. There is high active inventory. Buyers have abundant choice. Benchmark prices are down year over year. The average sale to this ratio is 94%, and average property exposure is around 48 days. So that means sellers cannot rely on old market conditions. This is not the kind of market where you can overprice, upload average photos, and expect buyers to chase you. Okay, so there's still major opportunities. King City remains a premium lifestyle destination. Luxury buyers are still active, and turnkey homes can still stand out. Properties with privacy, land, upgrades, strong design, and excellent presentation can still attract serious buyers. And the best seller strategy is simple but powerful. You price accurately, you present beautifully, market aggressively, and adjust quickly if the market does not respond. So, in a high inventory market, your first impression matters, and you want buyers to see your home as one of the best options available, not just another listing in the pile. So let's talk about the biggest mistakes buyers and sellers can make right now. So for sellers, the biggest mistake is testing the market too high. I understand why sellers want to do this. Everyone wants the best possible price, but in a buyer favorable market, overpricing can backfire. It can lead to fewer showings, longer days on market, price reductions, and lower perceived value. So once buyers see a home sitting too long, they may start to assume there's room to negotiate. The seller loses momentum, and there goes the deal. For buyers, I would say the biggest mistake is assuming that every seller is desperate. Even in a buyer favorable market, the best homes can still sell. And a well-priced turnkey estate style property in a desirable location can still attract serious interest, especially from out of area buyers looking for space and lifestyle. So the best strategy is not to be overly aggressive just for the sake of it. The best strategy is to be informed. So, understanding the property, the competition, the days on market, and seller's position. pricing history, and the true value. And that is how you make a smart move. My professional read on the market is this: King City is repricing, not crashing. That distinction matters. May 2026 was a buyer favorable luxury market with improving activity but elevated inventory. The fundamentals of King City remain strong. This is still a desirable community with luxury homes, large lots, privacy, lifestyle appeal, and long-term prestige. But the market is no longer rewarding unrealistic pricing the way it may have during more aggressive market cycles. For buyers, opportunities exist, especially on homes that have been sitting and homes that have had price reductions or properties that are not positioned correctly. For sellers, the market is active, but it is unforgiving toward overpricing and weak presentation. For homeowners, your home value depends on more than just the average price. It depends on your location, the lot size, the home condition, the upgrades, the price band, the competition, and how your property compares to what buyers can choose right now. So the bottom line is King City remains premium. Its strategy matters more than ever, and that this is why local market knowledge is so important. If you are thinking about buying or selling in King City, this is the time to get clear on your strategy before you make a move. For sellers, I can help you with a private home value analyst and a custom listing strategy based on today's market conditions, not outdated pricing expectations. For buyers, I can help you create a King City buyer strategy and identify listings where there may be real negotiating opportunity. And for homeowners, if you are not ready to sell, but you want to know more about what your home may be worth in this shifting market, I can prepare a custom market update for your property. You can contact me directly at natasha.hamilton@exprealty.com or call or text me at 226-974-6544 or visit my website at natashahamilton.exprealty.com. And before you go, make sure to like this video, comment below with your King City real estate questions, and subscribe for more luxury real estate updates across King City. I do Vaughan, Kleinberg, and all of York region. And also check out my other videos on YouTube if you are comparing neighborhoods or thinking about moving to King City or just planning to sell a luxury home. And don't forget to click out or to check out the helpful links in the description below. And again, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next month in the next video.